be able to operate a motor vehicle to have a driver's license. The issue has been resolved. And I'll show you the controlling authority in that in just a moment. Just walk with me here, bro. I want to show again. I want to just drill this in that here again, that is that. It's in the 10th Amendment where the state policing powers are. Policing power meaning to regulate. That's what police mean. It's not necessarily referring to a guy with a badge on. Just want to make certain that you're there with me. So let's just keep it moving right along, right? The 10th Amendment encompasses the legal division of powers between the federal and state governments. The 10th Amendment states that the powers of the Constitution does not give to, this 10th Amendment states that the powers that the Constitution does not give to the federal government are given to the states. Here again, there's nothing in the Constitution that says that a person has the right to operate a motor vehicle without a license. Be reminded of that. And if you can point to that, then you need to go ahead and source that up really quick, because it isn't. What the Constitution says is that the freedom of the individual to travel from one state to the next shall not be abridged, right? Meaning that John from Indiana can drive over into Illinois without any problems. And then that if John decides that he's going to go into Illinois, that John's going to have the privileges in Illinois that any citizen of Illinois would have, etc. And so just wanting to take you back to what? You remember I used the term, the privileges and immunities clause, etc. That's what that's speaking to. That's the Constitution. But let's continue here, bro. You wanted a constitutional lesson, I'll give it to you. Taken literally, this definition states that the Constitution is the only document determining which laws that the federal government has the right to create, while everything else should be left to the states. What is it that the states have done? All states, as well as territories of the U.S., meaning the Samoas, as well as Puerto Rico and other territories of the U.S., they have determined that the right, that the privilege, that driving is a privilege, that it is not a right, and as a privilege, that there are some regulations to be able to exercise that privilege. One of those regulations is to be in possession of a valid driver's license. But let's keep moving on, bro. This is the constitutional lesson that you can walk away learning something from. Okay, for example, there are many departments of the federal government that exist today that were not explicitly outlined by the Constitution. The Department of Education was not initially outlined in the Constitution yet. It was nonetheless created in violation of the 10th Amendment, right? Yet it was nonetheless created in violation of the 10th Amendment. And let's move on. I want to show you a couple of other things here. Actually, I'm not, getting into federalism might be a little bit too deep for you, bro. And so what is the controlling authority, right? Where is it that the Supreme Court has actually interpreted this particular issue? Well, it will be found in Hendrick versus the state of Maryland, and it was established over 100 years ago. The fact pattern in this particular case, and this is before the United States Supreme Court, I want to pull the case up again for those that are interested. Hendrick versus the state of Maryland, 235 U.S. 610, and it was decided in 1915, right? This is the controlling authority, and on any occasion, and it's what's referred to in law as well settled, meaning that the issue shouldn't rise because it's been well settled. It's law that's been adopted by the Supreme Court in its interpretation of the Constitution. The fact pattern here is this, my friend, that the defendant left his office in Washington, D.C., driving to his home in Maryland. And at some point, he was pulled over and was outside and did not have his car registered. The state of Maryland at that time had laws under that was founded in the 10th Amendment that regulated the safety of its highways and required individuals to be in possession of a driver's license as well as to have their vehicles registered. So the defendant argues that the very same argument that you hear yourself, that you hear your leader arguing, as well as other naive individuals, that we have the right to travel, etc. Well, this So and then I'm gonna move right on. So here in Sayers versus Roe, Supreme Court case 526 US 489 and 19 and settled in 1919 or decided, if you would, in 1919. Here, residencies requirements that without the privileges and immunities of a state citizen from people who have newly arrived in that state. I'm sorry. Yikes, get out of there. Oh man, get out, cancel. Sorry about that. Newly arrived in the state, strict scrutiny and strict liability apply. I'm hoping that you're being able to tie the knots here, but if it not, just ask the question. Okay, and so let's move right along. This is these are cases that are interpreting, and that's here. I'm sorry, you can't see that. Every last one of these cases, every last one of them are determining or interpreting the right to travel versus the right to drive. The privilege to drive, and they all reach the very same conclusion that there is no such constitutional privilege to drive. There's a constitutional privilege to travel, and that's founded in the immunities and privileges clause. But I'm sure that that's not good enough, And so here, let's stop for a second. Why is it that I found it to be somewhat reckless, if you would, on behalf of a presidential candidate to refer to 42.5 million Americans that have disabilities and saying that he didn't give an F about a recognized disability, et cetera. So, the American Community Survey in 2021 says 13% of U.S. Civilian non-institutionalized population, meaning that they're not in prison, they're not in prison, or about 42.5 million people. You heard me use that term. Have a disability in the country, and for him and his candidacy to say that he didn't give a shit about 42.5 million Americans, bro, I think is probably below the office. But let's just keep on moving right along here. So now I'm going to stop there and rest. I've got a couple of other slides that I'm going to present. After it is, my dear friend, 2 lanes, if you choose to, that you might respond to what it is that I just presented with whatever evidence or whatever reference it is that you have.
Well, again, I'm going to be just like my brother Patan and tell you a line, because I never said anything about the 10th Amendment or nothing. That was, again, y'all.
I didn't expect that you would have been able to speak to the 10th Amendment. Certainly not. Yeah. No, I'm interrupting you. Absolutely.
That was y'all.
Yeah, no, what you did is you supported it, bro. Yeah, you supported it. You stood and made comments. And now the fact that you guys have, memory losses, etc., doesn't matter. I know what it is that I heard. And there's another individual on the panel that heard it as well. And so the fact that you're backing away right now, I understand why, because you can't push based on what it is that I just presented. And so the easiest thing to do is just to find an escape. And so, I withdraw those statements, sir, Blackwater, I withdraw all of the statements that I made. And now I'm not going to stand because I can't even understand what it is that you just said. Say that too late, since you were so.
You pulled him in with your speech.
Hey, listen, I pulled. No, you're not going to interrupt me.
You pulled him in with your speech impediment.
Dude, are you serious? I pulled him in.
You
Wait,
listen at me.
How did he pull him in with his speech impediment when he made fun of Blackwater? Come on, bro. You have to mute when other people are talking.
So, no, he didn't at first. No, he didn't. He sat there and let Blackwater get everything out.
Yeah, bro, you can't talk when everybody else is talking. It's going to echo.
He said, bro, can you repeat it again?
Okay, go ahead. Let him talk, Blackwater. Let him get it out.
All he said, all the man said was, bro, can you repeat it again? All I heard with these and thous. That's all he said. Blackwater came back. So you gonna insult my speech impediment, such and such and such and such. That's how that shit started.
What did he say after he said he couldn't hear him?
Because he said, bro, can you say it again? because all I heard was these and dogs. Blackwater came back and said, so you gonna talk about my speech impediment? He say, I don't give a fuck about your speech impediment because I didn't know you had a speech impediment. That's how that shit went.
No, that was later on down
Thanks
the
for
line.
acknowledging
That
that.
was-
Yeah, a black person. Please let me finish with this guy. You know, I want to go ahead and get done with them. And so what you
Bro,
just
don't
actually
have no
acknowledged.
sources with me. You don't got no sources with me, brother. You don't even know.
Listen, put that damn hardback hat. No, you're not gonna scream. Stop screaming, dude. Just hold on to your panties. Just hold on to your panties. Just relax a second. Stop screaming. You know, put that damn hardback hat back on and get back out there in that sun and stand stand in that street and in direct traffic. Okay, that's what you do. And then as well as no, bro. You stand there in that damn sun with that damn hard hat on and direct traffic. Okay, that's what it is that you do. But more importantly, don't you come at me with the Constitution. Hold on. Shut the hell up. You know, I'm tired of your shit. I got tired of your shit earlier today, as well as yesterday.
You can't get tired of me. You can't get tired of me. You love me, bitch.
Actually, I can. I just kicked your ass to the curb, and so you sit there and listen at me. You put that fucking hard hat back on, bro, and go get you a damn razor and shave that damn face. And while you're standing there in that damn sun cooking, you know, and directing fucking traffic, you realize old Blackwater sitting back fucking chilling behind private fucking gates. Okay. And you remember that. You come at me because you've got some fucking leader that decides that he's going to come up and insult someone that's alleging that he's going to do so because he didn't give a fuck about his speech impediment when I was asking him a legitimate question. So you bring your fancy ass back up here and make a constitutional damn argument, or you scream like a damn hissy that you are, but that screaming ain't meaning shit. Make a fucking constitutional argument, bro. Prove me wrong. You've been sitting back saying that it's been legitimate up the last couple of days, etc. So you bring your lame ass back up here and prove it wrong.
Again, your lame ass, you got a fake ass argument. You got a fake argument, dude. It's fake. It's fake.
Hey, student, give him the screen and let him present.
I'm gonna challenge. I never challenged your shit. I never challenged anything. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You trying to make your panties is all in a war. You invested. You very invested. It ain't me. I ain't invested. I'm gonna set the record straight. How the shit got started. You started it, bro.
So at any rate, this guy really doesn't have anything to say. Hey man, listen, just chill out.
I ain't running for no office. I'm not running for office.
Well, good. No, what you're doing is you're acting as an agent for an individual that is and supporting his behavior, and have done so over the last couple of days. And I'm sure prior to that, based on some of the content that I've listened to over the last couple of days, you've been right there as an arch opponent, and as I mentioned earlier, your proximity makes no. Listen, just mute until I'm done. Yeah, just mute until I'm done.
Doesn't matter.
Or dude, listen, you mute until I'm done because I know what you're trying to do is trying to find an exit. And so your proximity makes you an accomplice. No, stop screaming, bro. I know the damn sun's hot and standing in that damn sun. Listen, okay, I know that standing in the sun, all day has the ability to start cooking the brain. I get that, and especially with a hard hat on. That metal, in fact, increases the temperature around your brain, a few degrees. That's not my fault. You blame your education system, you blame whoever the hell it is, and then you blame your damn boss man from coming up and insulting me. Otherwise, we'd not be having this conversation. I'm not sure what makes you guys think that I'm going to stand back and listen at a bunch of fucking pseudos insult me, and I'm supposed to be, take the higher ground and be forgiving. I don't forgive shit. I just presented the case, that your boss man couldn't present. And I'd ask you to go get him, since you step and fetched it your ass over here in defense of whatever it is that you are. But otherwise, bro, take that damn hard hat off or stand under a fucking tree when you're out there directing traffic.
Okay, can I have 3 minutes so I can just play it, please?
of the states to execute upon the health, the safety, the morality, as well as the general welfare of its citizens and inhabitants. And then two, why it is that you have displayed behavior, which it is that's been condemned across party lines and across both aisles, and mimicking the disability of an individual. And so,
now, is it before that, Blackwater, or is it after that?
It's actually before that. Yeah, where it is that initially, I asked the question, and he said that all I heard was him and Han, et cetera. Yeah, that was the point at which it is that the belittlement started as soon as he addressed me.
But it's in that same conversation, right?
That's the conversation.
Okay, I'm about to look for it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Tulane, brought you back up, bro. There you go.
Just back it up some more, bro. And Blackwater, I'm here all the time, bro. Ain't no stitching and fetching here or either protect anything. I'm appalled that you steady carrying it on, bro.
Hey, bro, the term is not repause, and so let's stop right here. I'm going to correct you since you're going to come and challenge me. Either you can stay on mute or I'm going to drop you. The term is not repause. Okay, so get it straight. If you're going to come up and try and be a freaking intellectual, then you need to make certain. No, you're going to listen. No, shut up. Just shut up. Don't disrupt me. And so, at any rate, as I mentioned, just relax, stay in your lane, and then use words that you're accustomed to using.
I didn't treat you like that on my live. I didn't.
No, actually what you did was you guys treated me like a kid. You wouldn't let me say anything. You let your great leader, continue to mute me every time it is that I attempted to speak, bro, and I recorded this. You think I'm an amateur? I recorded every step of it. Wouldn't let me speak. He got his little willies off. He couldn't do anything except for be insulting. And then he had a choir around him that was supporting everything it is that he said. And you were arch amongst them, bro. You were one of the chief lieutenants. And so come back up. But yeah, don't try and run now. Don't try and be, if you would, conciliatory, because you pissed me the hell off. And I'm not interested in reconciliation. I'm interested in calling your ass out. Get that hard hat up and come on back up here.
Well, as I'm concerned, you went to bed mad because you came with the same shit today. Yeah, bag it up some more, Susan. I don't need you to mute me. I know how to mute my own mic, bro.
How's the weather? It's about 80-something degrees over here.
So from this point on, Tulanes, is it reasonable to say that you won't be saying that you can drive on highways or supporting anyone that's saying that driving on highways without a license is legal? Or is that what you're acknowledging?
I never said it in the first place. You can't.
I'm asking you a question, sir. From this point forward.
Words in my mouth, brother.
Okay, yeah, I get that that conciliatory tone that you've taken, and so now from this point, no.
The thing is that.
No, the thing isn't nothing. The thing is this, bro. Listen. You're not going to interrupt me. So get back down there for a second. So here's what you're committing to. You're committing to saying, no, you can't drive without a license in any territory or state inside of the United States. And I've been taught that. And when you hear your great leader say that, you're as his advisor, you're going to pull him on the shoulder and say to him, great leader, that's not accurate. And how it is that I know that? Because I got some of Blackwater smoke. And so I'm certain of it now. And, he presented a compelling case that I couldn't say anything about. And so I recanted anything it is that I said prior to that. That's what you're looking to commit to, right? Because anything otherwise, then I'm coming at you with smoke, bro. I'd be damned if you guys are going to sit back and attack me and think that I'm going to sit back and not come back at you. Yeah, I'm an old damn backwater Geechee, bro. We don't roll like that.
You ain't nothing. You all right? You gonna be all right?
Okay, hold on, Blackwater.
And so, my dear sir, that seems to have been offended by a speech impediment. If I came up, it's what Trump did, if you recall. There was a gentleman. Actually, it's before this. It's at the beginning, Sutin. Yeah,
Okay,
you want to
at the
roll
beginning of when you start talking to him?
Yes, absolutely. I asked him, I started out by, to ask, what was the basis for the statement, et cetera. And so, yeah, it's prior to this point. I would suggest, if I was to speculate, that it's probably, I don't know, a minute and a half or so prior to that. And I'm just
Well, I
guessing.
just listened to 3 minutes of it. I got to go back 4 or 5. Okay, I'm gonna find it
Okay,
though.
yes. Okay, fair enough. And so, with that in mind, two lanes, bro, like you said, I don't know you from Adam. All I know is is your behavior over the last 48 hours. And where it is that you are now, bro, are you serious? You're gonna interrupt me while I'm talking? No, you're not gonna do that. Get the hell up out of here. Okay, and so now I'll continue. I don't know you from Adam, bro. And I'm suspecting that you don't know me from Adam either. And so the only thing that I can base any quote unquote judgment on is your behavior over the last 48 hours. And in my estimate, it was repulsive. It is, dangerous, in fact, in supporting, an argument that you're saying that you didn't say anything, et cetera. You should have said something, because you, as well as, the very same individual that's arguing that you don't have a license. Well, I took a look. And he's had a license until, in fact, those occasions where it is that it was revoked. And so if he believed that, why is it that he is driving with the license? I do my homework, bro. Yeah, it's not like I fell off the back of a turnip truck, or even a watermelon truck, and so why is it then that if he believes that, why would he be in possession of a license? So you come back up and answer that. And then if I need to, as I mentioned, I'll present, bro. I'll present. That's entirely up to you. But yeah, I did making mistakes before coming up here, and these guys will tell you that I generally don't. Yeah, I'm gonna do my research. Is he gone? Yeah, I guess you ran. Oh, whatever, bro. I wanted to get you back up here, but it appears that you've bailed, et cetera. All I'm saying is this: is that great, you came back.
I never went anywhere.
Why is it that you're a great leader?
You're the one invested, not me.
No, you're invested, bro. You're supporting an individual that's building an MLM. You know what MLM stands for, right? You know what MLM stands for? It's multi-level marketing. And you know where those things have ended up. Ask Bernie Madoff. Does that name ring a bell for you? Or do you need for me to lay out that argument as well? You know what MLM stands for, right? Multi-level marketing. You're part of that. And so it speaks to your character, my friend. And so, yeah, you're vested. You're vested. So all I'm saying is that I don't know you from Adam, dude. All I can do is judge you based on your exhibit over the last 48 hours. And I find it repulsive. And I don't have a problem in telling you that. And then I can demonstrate, your participation in an MLM. And Bernie Madoff, that will take his last breath inside a federal prison will tell you where it is that you may not want to get involved in those, as well as the leaders of a firm that's called Amway. You remember that? You seem to be old enough. You guys knocking on your door, selling you Amway products. You remember that? Yeah, of course you do. And so, here again, bro, like I said, all you had to do is sit back and say, great leader, and Kim Jong Il, Jong Il is the great leader there in North Korea. All you had to do is just say, "Hey, great leader, maybe you may need to have a driver's license, because I've got one in my back pocket. I've always had one, as well as I think you probably have one. And then more importantly, you don't want to get invested in an argument regarding the Constitution when you don't have any constitutional experience. And then finally, you should be able to distinguish between an executive order and an act, where it is that your great leader keeps saying that he's going to use an executive order to create an act, which is the acts are created by Congress. So as I mentioned, you follow the pseudoism, all it is that you want. But at the end of the day, what I'd say is that just stay, just kind of keep your comments away from me, because I'm not going to sit back and smoke. I'm coming with a fresh damn package of damn nicotine patches, and I've got the smoke to go with it.
Hey, Blackwater, can I ask you a question real quick?
Blackwater, I am at 1 hour and 54 minutes. So I'm about to play this, and you let me know if this is around the time.
Okay.
The right to travel, and so I thought that we'd start. And there was a discussion regarding the Constitution, and so how we determine the authority of a state to regulate, if you would, its affairs. You would have to start with the Constitution, and the Constitution is the 10th Amendment is the source of the policing power of a state. Is that an agreeable? Are you in agreement with that?
Brother, it's hard to follow along with you. Got a lot of ums and uhs in your statements.
I see. And I apologize. That's a speech impediment, my brother, and so I apologize that.
Okay, my bad. I'm just saying, I didn't know that.
No worries. I apologize. And I'll try and clean it up. So, it's a fairly clear statement. Does the 10th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution grant a state?
Do me a favor and pull up the 10th Amendment.
I apologize.
We can look at it all together, so I can fully answer your question.
Hold on. They got to load.
This where hey Susan, I can tell. Hey Susan, hey wait. I can tell you when it happened. When Blackwater said he gonna change his tone. That's when.
No, actually, he's playing the point. This is where it is. That was my opening statement, etc. The gentleman said that you're doing a lot of humming and hawing, etc. And as you heard, I apologized to him. I apologized to him that I wasn't clear, etc. And I went on. He asked for me to, I'll try and rephrase it, make a more clear statement, etc. And I did so. And then at some point, and suiting the plate, and I'll let.
I gotta wait for it to load. Right when you start talking, it started to load again. So I don't know what happened. It didn't do this the last time. So I'm gonna go back on mute until it starts loading up.
Hey Blackwater, so while he on mute, I got a question for you real quick. Did we ever find out how much money his campaign raised yet?
Well, I think that's an exceptional question. And given the fact that I'm not a campaign representative, and brother Two Lanes is, and as well, I think Patah. I'm sorry. Bro, listen, you are not, your excitement in answering must be contained to the extent that the question is presented or the statement. Listen, I hear those young guys that are taking Ritalin as well as clonidine saying the same thing. It appears to be somewhat a commonality in certain communities, but I could give a shit. So you understand that? So with that in mind, given the fact that brother Two Lanes here is a representative, I think that he might be able to answer that. Has there been any fundraising? And how much of that fundraising?
Well, thank you, sir.
Dude, you're going to no. You're not going to do that. I know you're a wise ass. That sun's gotten to your head under that damn helmet. When I stop talking, then you will. Until such time, you're going to stay muted, dude. I'm not sure who the hell you think you are. And so here again, given the fact that you are, I know why it is that you're trying to do that. Yeah. And so at any point, dude, you're going to relax. I'm telling you, contain yourself. If it's alcohol, then you'll reduce the amount of alcohol. If it's some other kind of substance, reduce the intake. But what you're going to do is show that at your advanced age that you have the ability to control yourself. That's really important. So I'll finish up here, and when I do and mute, then you speak, but not until such time. And so with that in mind, I think that two lanes probably would be in the best position to answer that question about the expenditures, about, the campaign finance structure as well. And so I'm in mute now, and sir, and you're free to make your submission.
Oh, we don't raise no money, man. It don't take money to run a campaign. It's just that simple. It don't take long to answer a question.
And so let me ask you this question. The fact that you've not raised any finances, are you required to file any financial applications, with the FEC, when you are running for a federal office, for either the Congress or... Dude, listen, you cannot answer my questions before. What is wrong with you? You've got that same shit that these kids on this app got. They can't damn contain themselves. And so here we go. Yeah, are there any financial statements that needs to be submitted at certain times, when you're running for federal office, either for the presidency or for the Congress? I'll mute now, sir, and it's your time to speak.
Yes, we are filed under the FEC.
So see, this is the how it is that it becomes somewhat comical. I didn't ask this gentleman whether he was filed under the FEC, and I'm sure that I won't even say that. I asked you a different question: whether in fact there are any whether there are requirements for filing of financial statements based on FEC and FEC rules and regulations. I'll mute now, and you can answer that question.
Yes, Blackwater. I said yes. If you're raising money, you must file that money in the FEC. Damn.
Dude, you must... that pseudoism is a hell of a damn thing. And so the question is, did you have you filed any financial statements based on the January 1st, the April 15th, and here upcoming the July 15th, deadlines? As I mentioned, bro, you shouldn't have come up here, because Blackwater, I always do my homework. And so, I've gone and we can drill down to that as well, as to what filings, if any, has been performed, and how it is that the FEC said considers these matters, etc. And so don't open up a can of worms.
If you go look at the FEC, you will find out that no funds has been filed because we don't raise funds to campaign.
Students, you've got that. All right, I'll stop talking. We'll get back to that, bro. We'll get back to that, and I'm gonna pull that up for you as well, okay? Like I said, you guys should have just left me the hell alone. Bro should have said, man, listen, sir, I don't want to answer any of your questions, whatever they might be. And I would have sat back and said, kindly, sir, and gone to mute, or perhaps even stepped down off the panel. However, if you're thinking that I'm not gonna come and push back, like I said, man, I'm a damn Blackwater Geechee. We don't roll like that. Yeah, we don't understand that.
Okay, we got an hour and 55 minutes.
Grant a state.
I apologize. We can look at it all together, so I can fully answer your question correctly. Pull it up on the big screen so we can look at it together as a whole. You don't mind?
No, I know the Constitution. You can look at it, but I'm telling you where it is that the authority is granted from. Since you're going to come at my speech impediment, I'm going to change my tone with you a little bit, my brother. And so, it appears that you don't know the Constitution. And so let me change my tone a little bit. It'll stop me from the stuttering. And so the Fifth Amendment is where it is that a state gets its policing authority. And what I'm drilling down on is the point with respect to the right to drive. And I see that you're not aware of that, because you... that because you don't have any knowledge of the Constitution with respect to this particular matter. So now all of a sudden the stutter's gone. You notice that how that works? Change of energy kind of changes the approach, and so you're not aware that the 10th Amendment is where it is that a state gets its policing authority. And so then you moved from that and went over to the executive power, to an executive order powers. And it's and do you know which portion of the Constitution that the executive authority of the president to issue executive orders is derived from? Yeah, my stutter's gone now, right? Yeah, I'm coming a little bit differently now. At the point that you decide, to determine that it would be appropriate to speak to speech impediment, I'm going to kind of change my energy with you a little bit, and it'll help us to be able to understand where it is that we are. You've not responded to either thing that I've said, so I'm going to mute and ask you: are you aware of the 10th Amendment of the U.S., or do you need to go ahead and Google that so that we can have a conversation? I'll mute and listen at you, bro. Yeah, you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you. And like I said, if you can, go ahead and put it on the screen for everybody to look at it so we can go over it and I can give you a clear answer. And I can give you a clear answer to what you want to hear. And when I give you the answer, please accept my answer. Put it on the big screen. Thank you.
Hey, student. Yeah, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm going to step down. You wanted to have a constitutional conversation, and you don't have the so go ahead. No, you let me finish my point. Yeah, and so would you mute him so that I'm and so I'm going to step down. Yeah, you're a lightweight, bro. You can't have a conversation about the Constitution. Yeah, you're here sitting and pushing that pseudoism. I'm straight up. Yeah, the fact that you're going to come at me with respect to speech impediment tells me about the depth of your character and your fitness to practice. And to sit in the executive office. And so, you can't have a conversation with respect to the Constitution. You didn't even know where it is. You're sitting here mentioning, that a citizen has the right to travel, without a license, but you don't understand where it is that a state derives its policing powers from, and that would be from the 10th Amendment. And so that's the beginning of it. Given the fact that you can't even have that conversation, you can't have a conversation with me. I'm gonna step back down in the chat, bro, and listen at these brothers. Go ahead and kind of move in on you. Yeah, you're out. You and I are in different swim lanes. You have a great night, sir.
And that's it.
Actually, you skipped the part where it is at the beginning, where it is that he said F my a speech impediment. It doesn't matter, for the audience.
I thought that came later.
No, it came at the beginning. That's why it is that it changed my energy.
Oh, I didn't catch that. I thought that came after this.
Then it may have. I will stand to be corrected. It was my understanding that it was at the
when y'all start talking, he said he couldn't understand you because you had a lot of ums and something else. Like to me, it sounded like he was poking fun.
Yes. Of course he was. Like I said, that's this guy's personality. I've sat back and listened to him over the last 48 hours. I've listened to several of his on this app, from posts that's been done, and that's just his personality. Lots of ego, lots of disrespect, and very little matters of substance. And then speaking to executive orders, he really doesn't even understand the function of executive orders, referring to them as acts and ACT, and the body of the U.S. government that has the ability to enact, ENACT, and act, an ACT. That power is reserved for the Congress and the Congress alone, et cetera. So, he's unfortunately sold a bill of goods to a number of individuals. I see that there's some that's kind of caught on to him and making various posts, et cetera. But, here again, and it appears that Brother Two Lanes is amongst them. They've been sold a bill of goods. This is, in my estimate, the carnival barker that's standing at the tent, at the entrance of the tent, and screaming and yelling and trying to encourage people to come in because they're going to come in and pay for entry, et cetera, but having anything substantive inside of that tent, is an entirely different situation. Two Lanes, why don't you defend him as an advisor? I'll mute and listen to you, bro.
What's that to defend? You have your opinion, bro.
Well, let me ask. Well, great. Okay. So you are you going to mute or are you finished? So let me ask you, my opinion is would it be an opinionated matter with respect to the legal matters that are standing, the criminal matters that are standing before him in the state of Indiana, and that it seems to be somewhat problematic. In fact, it seems to be somewhat Trump-like or Trump-esque. I think perhaps would be the term that after the May 30th, 2023 indictment, that just days later that he files for presidency. Do you think that was problematic, or or was there the belief that he might be able to find some cover from those allegations and charges under being a presidential candidate? I'll mute and listen at your response, sir.
No, I don't think that's how it went, because I believe that incident was done way before then. Way before
Sure.
then.
Well, good. Then what I'll do is I'll provide. No, hold on. No, it's okay. You need to know your candidate. Yeah, you're an advisor. You need to know him and know him extremely well. I was on an executive on the Bernie Sanders team, and one of our requirements, bro, was to really understand the candidate inside and out, et cetera, to be able to respond, to questions such as this. And so, I've got the answer that you don't hold. Just hold tight for a second. I'm going to pull it up and show you that on May the 30th of 2023 is when it is that the indictment and the charges fell. And just a few days later, there was then the filing with the FEC, the Federal Elections Commission, for the presidency. And since that time, there's not been any filings at all. There's not been the financial statement requirements. There's been no fundraising. There's not been any additional filings with the FEC. Is that a correct statement? While it is that I pulled this up, bro, like I said, I did my homework, man. Yeah, bro offended me. And had he had come back and said, man, I made a mistake. And then as well, I've got a daughter that has a speech impediment, and I represent as the chairman of the board an organization, a state level organization that advocates for children and young adults with disabilities, amongst them speech impediments. And for him to say that, and given the fact that there's 42.3 million people with disabilities in this country, bro, he struck the wrong nerve with this old country boy. And so I did my homework. I'm going to pull this up and disprove you again, brother Two Lanes. I'll mute while it is that you hem and haw now for a minute.
You say disproving me. You can't disprove me because it's not my claim.
Well, where is the brother? Because he made a couple of disparaging comments towards me.
You following Black. If you want him over here, tag him.
Oh, okay. Well, mute up a little bit. Mute up, because like I say, I got respect for you, Two Lanes, and I got respect for Patah. I just think that this guy has pulled the blinders over you guys' eyes. I know that it's kind of hard to accept, but like I said, I actually sent Blackwater 2 of my 4 businesses that I run, right? Just to show him that I'm not just up here talking. Really 5 businesses, my bad. I just wanted to, just to, and he may not have thought that I was trying to prove myself, because I wasn't trying to prove myself to him or anybody else. But you have a guy that you guys are following behind, and out the gate, I recognize the scam. It's a scam, bro. And here's the thing, as elders, not myself, because I'm still young and fly, but I give Blackwater a level of respect, although he's only 9 years older than I am. I give him a level of respect because he is the epitome, in my opinion, of the threat towards white supremacy. And he's also the epitome of what it means to be a successful Black man who's willing and able and capable of sharing his story and his knowledge with us who are coming behind him. So when I see a 38-year-old man with an ego as big as the United States of America, who wants to run for president, and then once we start doing our checks and balances, right? This is the thing that my grandfather wasn't able to do. But great that I had a great grandfather like him who taught me to always question everything that I come across. And when in my conversation with this guy that's 12 years, 13 years my junior, and he wants to have a pissing contest, I knew that he was a scammer. And Patah, I see you're in here, and I have a lot of respect for you, brother. And I don't, I like I said, we had our conversation earlier, so I'm not gonna revisit that. But I just think that when we see something, well, my grandmother used to say this before she passed, way before she passed. But anyway, all that glitter is not gold. And he's a glittering person. But once you do the digging, you'll see he's just some nickels. He ain't even worth the gold that he's talking about he has. Now, I do have a question about that big old building that he
Hold on, man.
has
I'm
on
trying
his
to
web.
play this real
No,
quick.
no, not
Oh,
yet.
okay,
Wait,
go ahead.
first.
No, go
Hold
ahead.
on,
Go
hold
ahead.
on,
Yeah.
hold on.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
hold on.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to reveal his misrepresentations. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sutton. I'll
I
hold
want to
up.
play the another part. It's
Absolutely.
2 hours and 4 minutes. So I'm gonna lead up to this is after you talk and you drop down and then read the Constitution. So this is Tanner again.
Say what it says. It says that clearly the power is not delegated. That means if it's not mentioned in this Constitution right here, the states can do whatever it want to do, basically. Now, when you say you have the rights to bear arms, it doesn't mean, for the guy with the speech impediment, I don't know his name, it does not mean that you can make laws to stop people from carrying their weapons, because it's already stated in the Constitution. If it was not stated here, then this would be what you're talking about. I just wanted to give you that. Same thing about the driving. If it was not stated in the Constitution, then this would be what you're talking about. I'm glad you came back. I was waiting for you to pull it up.
You see,
This is when you came back.
So, I heard, and I see here in the chat, etc., that we shouldn't be attacking, our quote unquote own. But at the same time, I've not seen in the chat, and I've not heard, the gentleman here, and I use the term, as it's appropriate, to offer an apology for obviously attacking, as I mentioned, a person's disability. It is conduct that is akin to that was, if you would, displayed by the former president that has been, if you would, indicted as well as convicted of 34 felonies. It's not the type conduct that you would see displayed at the highest office in the land. And so it changed my energy. And however, even under those circumstances, when the chief executive officer of the country is of the country is that before the citizens that they're asking for support from, they display a level of conduct, a level of behavior that is generally beyond reproach. It has been that it's been that standard, for if you would, the beginning of the country. And I came into the box. I simply asked the gentleman's familiarity with the 10th Amendment, given the fact that the 10th Amendment is the source for a state's policing power. He's brought up a portion of the 10th Amendment, didn't bring the 10th Amendment up, in its entirety at all, but then offered an interpretation of the 10th Amendment, with respect to a state's policing power. What the 10th Amendment, further says here, is that any authority that's not granted, if you would, to the federal government, it allows for a state, if you would, to regulate the behavior as well as to enforce order in its territories for the health, the safety, the morality, and general welfare of its inhabitants. One of those, if you would, regulations of behavior and safety is the mandate that is under every last, all of 50 states, as well as the U.S. territories, U.S. Marshall Islands, and Puerto Rico to be included, is the ability for a state to regulate, if you would, motor vehicles and to devise rules with respect to driving. He's using the term traveling as if it's differentiated by the U.S. Supreme Court. Whether traveling, when in control of, you will find this particular language in state regulations that are speaking to the regulation of motor vehicles. You will find the language, the phrase "in control."
After you talk, does he talk again?
I really think, Susan, that you may be advancing it, and I think that my memory, and and here again, I can stand.
But I know when he said
it was at the beginning
about
that was at the beginning of our conversation. Yes.
No, but I remember when he says it, he's on the big screen. Now, this is the first time,
I don't.
Yeah, this is the first time he's on the big screen on the live, and that's when he said it.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't aware of that. So perhaps you're right, and I will certainly concede that I may have.
If you want, I can download it and see if I can send it to my G drive and then send it to your email.
Okay, and that's great. I think that there's probably no issue.
He does talk after. He talks after that. I remember this.
Okay.
Man. Come on.
Okay. Well, then, please do. As I mentioned, it is at this point for me, a well settled issue that was his response. I'm not sure how it is that Two Lanes is making the argument that some kind of way I force a presidential candidate to say something that he did not intend, while it is that he's been speaking on this for 48 hours. But if that's your position, sir, that's your position. At the end of the day, where we are right now is with respect to your last statement. Your last statement was, I made the statement just as a reminder that on May the 30th of 2023, and you notice I pulled it up, right? Like I said, bro, I'm not gonna make a statement that I can't factually support. That on May the 30th of 2023, an indictment as well as charges, for various felonies were handed down by the grand jury. They're in Grant County, who's sits in the state of Indiana, and then several days later, Mr. Malcolm Terrell Tanner filed with the FEC the required paperwork to become a presidential candidate, and you indicated that was not the case. Is that an accurate analysis of what transpired, sir?
No, sir. We was already in the process of campaigning, when those charges came down, if I'm not mistaken, we was
You are
already in the
mistaken, my
process.
brother.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Oh,
No,
oh
I'm
good.
not.
I'm going to present the evidence.
You
You're
can go on
not.
my page. You can go on my page, bro.
I don't need to. I don't need to go on your page, bro. I've got the evidence right here.
Talking about what you talking about dates. You talking about dates, and I'm giving you a date. We was already in campaigning process when them charges came down, bro.
Excellent. So let me ask you this question. No, Black first, please, Black first, please allow me. You know, and then I'll yield the floor. And so, are you submitting then that that you guys were organized as and taking steps to and actually moving forward with steps and campaigning prior to registering prior to registering with the FEC is what you're saying? Make certain that you make that statement clear and consider it before you say so. So I'm going to ask you, were you taking steps prior to was the campaign taking steps prior to registration with the Federal Elections Committee and campaigning as a presidential candidate? Yes or no?
We was already doing that. We was already on TikTok.
Okay, great. I'm glad. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
If I may.
Prior to the charges.
Thank you, Patel.
If I may.
Go ahead, Patel.
All right. Big gang. We was in I think it was Elk County. And we took, well, before that, we was in Grant County before that. And I took 2 of my babies up to Grant County.
What state is Grant in those counties?
It's in Indiana.
Indiana.
We went out to Indiana, and I went out there and got me 2 certificate deeds for my kids. Then I went back again and got another one in the courthouse, do everything you're supposed to do, boom. So then we get up there again to Elkhart for the babies to get it again. So we have all the parents sign the babies' names down, and when we turn them in, they see that it was all of us. See, that's the idea. We was up there over 500 deep, all of us, and they couldn't get in the door because we had the capacity for it. We already knew what we was doing. So we had it, and they didn't want it to go down that way. I got the whole court, I got the whole setup on my page where it plays out when the incident takes place. So they said that we can't let the babies get land, but we already done did this shit before. And they saying we can't. So a little, discussion take place with them, whatever the case may be. The lawyer for them tries to get hard up. I got the shit on my page. He tries to get hard up. Him and Doc have a few words. The sheriff and them is in the building. They can't do nothing about it. There's nothing they could do. This ain't that type of violation. The lawyer goes and tells them that the kids can't buy the property. So they hold an illegal joint, knowing that it's full to capacity, and they still let these white tea people in the house. They still let them in. Got the videos to prove it. Where it's even saying, you're not even supposed to be here. It's full to capacity. How did you get those 12 properties? You see? So this is what's taking place. So cool. After all of this, we get to setting up. We said, this wouldn't happen to us if we had that office. If we had that executive branch, this wouldn't happen to us because we was already on the local level setting up shop. That's why we're in the process of getting the land. It's a process that you use that we're utilizing to make sure we're in the districts. So when we do this, you want to run for mayor, it's a proper way to do it. You want to run for governor, it's a proper way to do it. Some people got their way. We have a method that we utilize. So we was utilizing it. So now we go, like I said, we go again. Now they done switched it on us. They try to tell us it's in one building and it's in another. We make the news on all of this shit. So then these charges come down. And like I said, we say, if this is before we even know of any charges, we say, if one of us was in office, this wouldn't happen. And we said, Doc, run for president. He ain't choose himself. We said, Doc, run for president. Because if one of us was in these offices, now we could prevent this kind of stuff from happening where they could just, go against the grain, where it's set up a certain way where you get in there and you could buy the deed, but you could change the game right in the middle of things. That's what took place. They changed the game right in the middle of it. Go ahead.
No, thank you, bro. And so the state and local government has nothing to do with the FEC, the Federal Elections Committee. The Federal Election Committee is the agency that oversees running for federal offices, whether it's at the whether it's in Congress or in the House of Representatives or in the Senate or for the presidency, et cetera. So, thank you for sharing that. However,
If I may,
it has.
if I may,
Sir, can I finish my statement? And you certainly may. And so your statement has nothing to do with running for the presidency. And so what I'm understanding you as well as Two Lanes to say is that as that Malcolm Terrell Tanner was running for presidency prior to the indictment is what I'm hearing, and so would you clarify that he was running for presidential office prior to the indictment is what you're saying? Is that accurate? And I'll mute and listen to your response, sir. And so could you answer that and then add on thereafter?
no, sir, wasn't running for office. Incident took place.
Well, Tulane, no, sir. Tulane said that he was, and so you came in to clarify that what Tulane say, and so you're saying that he wasn't running for office prior to the indictment.
No,
and so I mean, you're saying two different.
No,
okay, so he wasn't running,
you.
and so the charges, and sir, respectfully, what you're saying is somewhat contradicting what you're saying, and so my question is fairly clear: whether or not Mr. Tanner was running for federal office, the office of the president, prior to the indictment. That was, and my understanding from Two Lanes is that he was running for president prior to the indictment. And I thought that you said that as well, but now you're saying something else. And so would you just clarify, whether or not he was running for office prior to the indictment? Or
what I'm saying to you is we begin to run for office after an incident took place, and that's when we begin to run for office. No office.
Right. So what about the indictment, bro? I'm not asking you, but you're talking about something that's irrelevant, and so I'm thinking, respectfully but directly, that you're avoiding the question. The question is whether
I just answered you.
Oh, okay. Well, great. Then I'll go ahead with my presentation.
No.
Okay. Well, Patah, did you know about the indictment? Patah,
yes,
did you know?
Yes, I know. I was there.
Okay, so when was he indicted?
When was he indicted? He was indicted in 2023. He was indicted.
Okay, so prior to that,
no
was
office.
he running for president?
Look, we were setting up to run for local, learning the way to run for local offices. So remember, I said the mayor and all that. We was learning the method on how you got to be a resident, how you got to, those things, how you got to have that.
So can we come to the conclusion, Patah, brother? Again, you already know how I feel about you. Can we come to the conclusion, because you don't know this guy from Adam? Can we come to the conclusion that he decided to run for the presidency after he got indicted? That's what.
No, that's not true, bro.
Hold on, Tulane. He asked me. Hold on, Tulane. Hold on.
So see, these guys are saying different things. They're saying different things. I'm going to present, and then you guys can kind of shuffle around it. I've got the evidence here, and everything else is just is mere innuendo. And so he filed for, as I mentioned earlier, and Two Lanes claim otherwise. He filed for through the FEC to run for presidency after the charges. I'm going to present my case, and then you guys say whatever it is that you want. No one's answering the question directly, but the documents would show otherwise. And so here is, does that I think is the same individual, Malcolm Terrell Tanner, in the state of Indiana. And I mentioned earlier that the probation department is involved. The Grant County Probation Department is involved as well. And we'll get to that in a minute. He asked the question about, he asked this question earlier this afternoon. And so here's the date. Let's make certain that you can see that. Can I make that larger? It's a little bit foggy for me. Here, let me set this down for a second and just make that a little bit larger. Oops, get that out of there. Are you able to see that date right there? That is May the 30th, 2023. here are the charges. Since we're discussing it, 2 counts of perjury, 2 counts of counterfeiting, and 2 counts of fraud. Okay, that happened all on May the 30th. Now bear with me. Let's go over to the FEC. So we can clarify issues with data. So
Hey,
let's bear with me.
One quick second, Blackwater. Let me say something real quick. I'm sorry, brother. This guy is a self-proclaimed public figure who has over 14 million views in respects to his campaign and his ideals. So we are not doxing him. We are not showing any information that is not public, that is not available for the public to review. Let me say that clearly. We are not doxing this guy. He is a self-proclaimed, he said it earlier today, that he's a self-proclaimed public figure with over 14 million views since he went public with his candidacy for the presidency. Thank you.
Yeah, guys that talk about doxing have never even bothered to look up the term or the legal definition. I'm not even going to respond to them. You're talking to somebody else. You're not even addressing me. And so I'm going to continue here. They don't. Yeah, they just are. On an entirely different plane, and I don't have to take time to bother with that. This is the Federal Election Commission, and I think I may have said at one point committee, but I intended commission. And here's the statement of organization, right? As you can see here, the name. I think that is the individual, and it shows the date. And as I mentioned, here's on June the 16th of 2023. And so a few days later, after the indictment, there was the statement of organization. But if you even look a bit closer, and I did, that was the first and the only filing for this particular campaign. There's been no other filings, none of the financial filings. And man, did I close that page out? Not sure. And I can open it back up here, etc. But let's see, make certain. Which is, of course, a bit problematic. Are there some deadlines that, well, I won't ask the question, and so, yeah, I close the page out. I'll bring it back up, but this is the only filing, this filing right here. And this is a public record, okay? The idea of doxing is just child's play. Guys hear each other say shit on this dumbass app, and then they'll go off and repeat it like a bunch of dumbasses, not knowing any better. And so they just make themselves a further dumbass because they don't know any better than a dumbass of what doxing is, and won't bother to try and figure out so that they're not dumbasses, et cetera. And I don't have to follow up dumbass shit. I think I stick with the evidence. And so my point is clear, is that on a few days after that indictment, he filed for presidency. Now, the filed to run as a president, for the office of president, and Tulane said that they were running for president prior to that. Of course, that's problematic, and someone asks you, don't answer that question, and so you might want to go back and revisit it. Patah is saying something different. It's saying something different, and no one's really answering the question. I think that Tulane's answered it directly, but Tulane's you're actually wrong, and I'm hoping that you didn't start running for president until such time that you had did the appropriate filings, because that could be problematic, bro. Like I said, if you had just hunched bro in the side, right? Like, man, don't bother that old man, because motherfuckers try and sink you, or just, yeah, man, that wasn't right. You shouldn't have said that. Now step it up and let's move on. Let's not have 2 days of conversations about him where it is that you guys all seem to be excited about those conversations, because you aren't talking about anything else. You're talking, yeah, that's all it is that you're talking about. Then Black First comes in, and then all of a sudden, that's all it is. You weren't talking about any of the campaign issues. You weren't talking about the platform in which it is that he was running. All it is that he was doing is standing there and sticking his chest out further than even a Donald Trump type figure, et cetera. And so, like I said, we got here. Unfortunately, you say that it's because of me. What I say is because of the candidate that you're supporting. And so, one, let's you can recant your statement and say, yeah, man, I didn't say that we were running for president prior to the indictment. Just so that there's not some recording that a campaign official is saying otherwise. You'll just keep that in mind, etc. And so you can come off your mic and recant that. And then as for Patah,
Man,
I'm not asking.
the
No,
motherfucking thing.
good, bro. That's on you. You don't understand what federal laws is, and so that's on you. That's how ignorance work, right there, folks. But and so that's good. You don't have to do anything. What you can do is try and stay out of that damn hot sun because it makes you crazy. But that's besides the point. And as for Patah, whatever was going on at the local level, running for a local office, and I don't have a dog in that fight or a point with respect to that. It had nothing to do with the filing for running for presidency, and that filing occurred after, in fact, the indictment was my point, and I think that I provided substantial evidence, probably irrefutable evidence that it occurred based on the documents that your campaign filed, as well as the indictment that was handed down by a grand jury in Grant County, the city of Marion in Indiana on May the 3rd of 2023. That's all my point.
Okay, so Blackwater. When is his next court date? I think he got a court date coming up really soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is on July. I'm sorry. That's okay. I'll finish up, and then it's on actually July the 8th from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. But to make certain that old Blackwater's not just making shit up, what I'll do is I'll provide the evidence.
Right,
so bear with me
I think
here.
he got a judge. I think he has a judge that I'm kind of familiar with.
Yeah, it's actually Judge McVicker. Here, let me share him with you. So at any rate, and I asked the brother, did he recognize this guy? Yeah, that's Judge McVicker right there. And Malcolm understands who he is. That's Judge McVicker right there. And how is it that say, well, would you please substantiate that for us, Blackwater? Absolutely, I'd be happy to. So here, let's go down here and show. Here, there's the date, 7/8/2024, pretrial conference, right? The session here, and then there was one back in March, and it was rescheduled. They gave them 4 months to prepare for a trial. 7/8, which is July the 8th at 1:30. I said 1 o'clock. I apologize for 1:30, and in front of Judge McVicker. And Judge McVicker, as I just showed, is don't leave off of that. Cancel on that. My apologies. Is the individual that would be that is handling the case, etc. And so as well, there was a question earlier today, with respect to, I think that the candidate asked about a past history, and I'll let him account for that. But who's involved in this matter? The defendant, one Mr. Malcolm Terrell Tanner, the state, as the state is always the plaintiff in criminal matters, and then what other departments involved? It's the probation department, Grant County Probation Department. So, all I can say is what it is that the official document says. If he has some, different view, he's able to come. He understands what's going on here. He's standing in the hall, and having this discussion. But all I can do is go on the data, and more importantly, like I said, all he had to do is just say to me 2 nights ago, sir, brother, I don't want to answer that question, and I would have just kindly have stepped down. But to come
Blackwater,
and thank that, bear with me 1 second, bro. 1 second. Yeah, I would have stepped down and allowed for it to move on. But if you're thinking that you can take a shot at me and I'm not going to shoot back, don't tell me how to fight either. I'm not coming and you slap me, I slap you back. You slap me, I'm going to take your fucking legs off. That's what I do. And so if you don't like that type fighting, then you need to go to your Department of Defense and tell them you shouldn't be shooting freaking Raytheon missiles, guided missiles at them, the Taliban that's shooting freaking World War II rifles. And so that's the way it is that we fight here in America. We don't fight slap for slap. We take each other's heads off if we choose to, and that's what it is that I'm doing. And so there you go. Whether you like it or not, that's how it is that I roll, brother Two Lanes.
And again, brother, that's you.
Did you want me to continue with my presentation? Because and like I said, and he recognizes this person right here too. You know who that is? Yeah, that's
I
old
got a
Happy
quick
Johnson.
question. Somebody keep muting me. Somebody keep muting me. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Somebody keep muting me. I
I'm
do
sorry.
have
I'll
a
mute.
question.
Okay.
Yeah, I have
I'll
a
mute.
question for you, Professor Blackwater. So when we are talking about Mr. Tanner, he presented a building on his website for his address of Tanner and Tanner. Is it factual that this building is abandoned and dilapidated? Is it really worth the $4 million or $5 million that he was talking about, Blackwater? And I got a follow up after that, Blackwater, please.
No, exceptional question. And so let's make that determination. So at some point, in my research, the gentleman did present from the top of a building, saying that he was standing on top of his hotel. And at some point here, let me get this turned around a little bit, and I'm going to present. All I'm doing is presenting the evidence, and people are able to make whatever decisions it is that they want, but I'm going to present the evidence. And at some point, actually, later, he made mention that that the members of the public officials actually had attempted to burn, or actually had burnt his, set his building on fire. And so, given the fact that it's a hotel, based on my understanding, what I did was then research, hotel fires, around the time that he had presented in the city of Marion, right? And how it is that I found the hotel, wasn't from his website. Well, actually, it was from a post that he had done, and I didn't know what city because it didn't say what city or state it was. But what I did was, is I watched the video and saw one image, and that image was a CVS pharmacy. And then I determined that, well, there's a matter that is in the city of Marion. And so I then Googled the CVSs in Marion, and it pulled up, and I found 7 CVSs. And so I went to each of the CVSs, and then did a Google search, a ground Google search, and looked around each of them for a building that appeared to be maybe anywhere from 4 stories or taller, and then found what I believe was the building. But then how it is that I confirmed it was as I then went to the gentleman's website, where it is that he has a particular address that's posted on at the bottom of the page with respect to contact information for that particular website, and that particular address correlated to the CVS that's across the street. And so then, knowing that I found the appropriate building, I then took a look at the building, and here we are. Bear with me. Let's cam up. Like I said, all that dude had to do is say, "Oh man, I don't want to answer your questions. Whatever. I don't like old people. Whatever the hell." But yeah, to go where it is that he went, and then to keep on for 2 days, it was just a bad decision. So here's the building. Here, let me stroll in a little bit. Here's the building. As you can see, from this particular state of the building itself, it is somewhat in a state of actually of disrepair, broken windows, etc.
Excuse me. Wait.
Yes, sir.
So is this building listed as his business address?
It is absolutely listed. And I'll pull that up in 1 second here. Let me show the building though. We want to have a conversation about it. I'm going to show, like you said, what it is that I found. It's all public records. And so, it is. So here's the oops, man, I'm trying to drive and I apologize, guys. Let's see, let's go a little bit further there. So here's the building, and I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, try and get that truck out of there a little bit. as you can see here, the building is obviously
He
not
need gutters. He need
occupied.
gutters. I do gutters for a
Oh,
living. He need
well,
gutters.
there you go. There you go. You guys might be able to sit down and work something out. I know that he's been trying to get you to to
Work for him. He want me to work
to
for him.
work for him, absolutely. And so we're gonna go around the corner here and take a side look. An abandoned building here, that CVS in here. Man, I'm trying to hold the camera and drive, and I can't do two things at one time, but I do a couple of things relatively efficiently when I'm
Pull over, please, man. 'cause
okay. Then I'm gonna
I
pull
can't lose
over.
you. Yeah, I can't
Okay,
lose
thank you, sir. Yeah,
you. I
I
can't lose you,
appreciate
man.
that.
Pull
Okay,
over. Pull
okay.
over, please.
All right, and so
And
here we go.
while
All
my
right.
brother is pulling over and continuing to show that the people who are following this guy, you're gonna go to jail. You're gonna go to jail for following this guy. And that's the bottom line. We peeped this out when he came on Sudan's live the other day. And I'm sorry to be a bearer of bad news, but fuck it. That's who Black First is.
Okay, and so I'm not sorry. The fact that you can ignore 42 million Americans that you are seeking to represent, et cetera. I'm not sorry at all. Like I said, I would not have gone this far if the brother had just done one thing and say, "Sir, I don't want to answer your questions." And so, as you can see, the side interest here is about in the very same condition. Broken windows. And so the one thing that we know is that the codes would not allow for anyone to use this as a hotel in its current state. But as well, if we were to look around the neighborhood a little bit, what we'll find is this what appears here to be an abandoned funeral home. And then if you just drive down the street here, you'll find here another abandoned building, etc. And so that's the condition. And so what I did was, now that I had the address of the building, I can now go to public records and determine what the assessed value of that building is. And I think that as you recall, sir, and two lanes. Do you recall what the value of that building is, sir? You've heard the brother talk about it. You want to speak to that?
2 lanes? How much was the building? 2 lanes.
I wasn't there when he purchased it.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
but he said,
no.
but
But
you
you've
know
heard,
how
he's
much the
talked about
building
it.
is.
Yeah.
How much he
Like
say the building was? 2 lanes.
We don't talk about that building, bro.
Yes, you do. He said it today, 2 lanes.
It's okay. I understand where 2 lane is now. You got in too deep, bro.
We don't talk about the building since it caught a fire.
Okay, well,
They
2
set it
lanes.
afire.
2 lane. Okay, 2 lanes. Cool. So he compared.
Hold on.
Wait.
Blackwater, stop for a second. 2 lane just said that this
He said
building
it.
was set afire. Would you
Yeah.
repeat yourself, sir, so that everyone's able to hear you? This building was set afire, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it was set afire.
Okay.
No, sir,
Shit.
it wasn't. No, sir, it wasn't. And I'm going to ask you again.
Who told you that?
Are you? Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead and answer that.
Who
And so
told
I'm
me?
going to show that
Who told me?
That the
that's a
building was set
fiction.
on fire.
We got the phone call from a lady in Marion.
All right, go ahead, my bad.
And so the fire department went there and put out a fire. Is that accurate? Oh, dang it! I keep doing that. Is that accurate, sir? Okay.
That's
All right. Bear with me then. All right. Fair enough.
Just say that's what you were told, 2 lanes. Because again,
Yeah.
here's the thing, 2 lanes. And again, I respect you, bro. You wear a hard hat like I wear a hard hat, my guy.
I think y'all got old pictures of it.
No, just chill, 2 lane. Let me be honest with you, bro. Here's the thing. You have this young, tall, charismatic person standing in front of you. And yeah, you may have gotten something back once you made your initial investment. You probably got this, that, and the third. But here's the idea behind what the Blackwater tried to explain to you earlier with this guy Madoff. He got this money from, and then he'll put the money back out into everybody's pockets and then he'll go to the next person and get more money and then put it back into people's pockets so he can present like he's really making profit off the investment. This young dude is using what we call, and it's a book called The 48 Laws of Power. Everything